Welcome to the Still Grizzlies channel. Today, we have family to back us up. Have you ever wanted to take on a challenge with your family? Well, in today's review, we are looking into a game where you and your family take on the dark evil of the world. Children of Morta essentially is a dungeon crawler where you will be grinding through all the randomly generated dungeons, slaying all the baddies. As you progress, the bosses get tougher, like any game, so you'll need to level your family up to compete. What gives this dungeon crawler a new aspect is the story mixed with a beautiful environment and intense gameplay. You'll take on the evil with your family, and together you are stronger. Let's get right into it. The environment is a pixelated world that honestly at first I kinda struggled with liking. Once I started playing and getting more into it, I could see it for what it was, a beautifully animated world with characters dodging and enemies flittering in. In addition, you see some characters like Lucy yelping as she shoots off fireballs, and Mark's Naruto-style run really complements his martial art fighting style. These little touches really give the game a larger feel as you play in the combat or listen to the story. What it really does is give each family member personality. Throughout the environment of the dungeons, you'll find altars that give you a temporary buff. Along with that, you'll find charms that give you permanent boost, sometimes temporary and sometimes not always good. While cruising in the dungeon, you'll also find random chests that can be opened to give you morph, which is the game's currency, or sometimes giving you random charms in those chests. The morph after each level can be used to upgrade armor or dodge or similar abilities. The morph can also be used to upgrade elements later on in the game, like amount of experience gained from kills or even the amount of morph dropped by enemies. Along the way in the dungeons, there are also random shopkeepers you can buy items from to help shore up your characters. Typically, at the end of the level you'll find them. They will use soul stones though, instead of morph to pay for items in the dungeons. Soul stones are randomly dropped by enemies once defeated. If they have an icon over their head, yep, like that guy right there, they have more of a chance to drop them. In the environment, you'll find random events that are triggered. You'll see a large blue shield, and once you step into this room, you can find yourself playing ping pong. Yep, ping pong, taking down waves of enemies, or finding a key element to help progress the story. Each run you'll find new NPCs to help you with upgrades or rewards that could help in the battle against the darkness. This encourages you to go back into the dungeons to explore each map fully so you don't miss any little tidbits of information as you level up the family. The gameplay is a simple affair in some regards. It is, at its core, a dungeon crawler, so you will be battling your way through hordes of enemies, completing each level of the map till you reach the boss at the end of the map. What I enjoyed about the game was that there was enough story dabbled in with the farming that it felt like no matter how you fought, you were always progressing. Though that will be more in the story area, and we'll discuss that in a minute. Back to the gameplay. Each character will have 3 main abilities you will unlock as you level them up. A standard style attack that can be used continuously, a special attack that has a cooldown that can be used in key moments, or whenever you want, as it is your game. Then the last attack is mostly focused on a defensive ability. Some may do damage like John's shield wall that can push the enemies back. Later on, leveling him up, you can get that to damage those enemies. The combat itself isn't game-changing. It's the typical hack and slash you would see in any dungeon crawler. You can dodge with some characters while others may slide away. The joy of the game is playing each character and growing to know their skill sets. It is this that turns it from a typical hack and slash gameplay to a fun, satisfying experience. As the story progresses, you'll see new bad guys and you'll receive new powers. Speaking of the powers, you can see here that each Bergson family member has their own tech tree. Woohoo! I love me some tech trees. The only issue is you have to individually farm in the dungeons with a specific Bergson to get their skills up. There are some Bergsons you will be more inclined to use because Linda's great at a distance, but when you get swarmed by enemies, you'll see she poses a challenge. While John is great at taking out those swarms with his giant sword, he isn't a great taking out those monsters who like to sit back and shoot at you. Personally, I normally play with someone like Linda. I like the ability to sit back and take shots at the enemy trying to get at me. But with this game, I noticed I would steer towards those who took on bad guys in close quarters. It was a good change of pace for me, but would have been saved if they had more than the 2 ranged characters you use. You can grow their skills, letting them get stronger, but the key point of the game is that near the end, you'll want all your characters skilled up as high as you can get. Why, you ask? Well, I'm here to tell you. First, your characters, if you use them too often, will suffer from what is called corruption fatigue, which will lower their health until they recover. So you want to give them a chance to rest while other family members go to the dungeon. Second, each member of the family will unlock an ability that will help the family overall. Some will provide better dodge, higher crit rates, and so on. In the beginning dungeons, this won't play in as much, but as you get further in the game, it helps to take on those swarms of enemies. Third, not only will each family member help with things like crit rate, but also their abilities can be used by other members of the family. For example, Linda has the raining arrow ability. Once she is leveled to a certain point, other members will get that ability randomly when attacking with their special skills. So what they say really is true with the Bergsons. The family that slays together, stays together. The story follows the Bergson family of 6, who you will be able to play each character. Or will you? That would be spoiler territory though, so I'm going to steer away from that. You have warriors like John with his sword and shield, archers like Linda, and so many characters in the family you'll think there is a whole clan. The story centers around the corruption, which at the start of the game shows it spreading across their homeland. The demonic Ooh fights against them at every step of the way. The Bergsons have a secret though. Beneath the Bergsons' family home is a shrine that lets you enter 3 different gateways, which typically has 3 different areas in each gateway. Here is where you send your family out to fight in the dungeons to help defeat the great and powerful odds. Whoops, wrong story. The story itself does feel very cliched fantasy-wise. You're here fighting a large evil that you have to save the 3 spirits to help you defeat it. What helps to deliver the story is when you die in the dungeons, it isn't a, oh well, let's try it again mechanic. Nope. They deliver cutscenes most often with a narrator telling you the Bergson story, letting you know each family member. In a way, this makes you feel like you're progressing when you die, as when you die, you keep getting more of the story. While it is definitely frustrating dying in the game, this is a nice cushion of that deathly blow. What really brings the story together for me is that the narrator who voices it really draws you in to the Bergson's life.
A single moment, with a single gulp he drank, the memory of all the years with her passed through his mind. Regret became his companion.
Watching as the characters live their lives, getting a new pet, or finding old friends you may have lost along the way, it helps you grow with the family to develop a strong connection, so when key moments happen, it is something that hits you harder as well as the family itself. I typically don't play dungeon crawlers for the grinding you have to do to level up your characters. I know, each person has their own particular game style that they enjoy, but with Children of Morta I felt there was enough story. The gameplay was fun enough that I was able to find myself lost in a world where I grew with the family. Essentially, it was enough to distract me from that grind. The art style and storytelling really pushed it over the top for me. Those moments where you had to farm to get to beat that hard boss and that feeling of triumph after taking them down only pushed me to want to get to the next level. In the end, I gave the game an 8 out of 10. Why didn't I go higher, you may ask? It was because the grind was real. It took a long time to farm enough to level each family member up. Adding in more ranged characters also wouldn't hurt in the end. The game is fun to play, and that's what matters most. I recommend this game only really if it's on sale. While it's a good game, I don't think it's worth it at full price. I hope you enjoyed my Children of Morta review. If you enjoyed my video, please leave a like and a comment below on what you liked about the video, or if you have any other games you'd like me to check out. If you'd like to help support the channel, make sure to click subscribe. This is the Steel Grizzly, wishing you best of luck with all your future games.